guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness and welcome to my review of Hashtag Alive. This one came out in 2020. It's starring, apologies in advance, I know I might mispronounce these names here, Yoo Ha-in and Park Shin-hye, and was directed by Yi Cho. So, yeah, man, what a fucking awesome movie we have here, dude. First of all, before I get into the spoiler-free section, big shout out to Paul. A lot of longtime viewers of DOD have heard me talk about Paul. He is the guy who did the intro and outro for the Days of Darkness videos that you see before each review and after each review. And he's the guy who did the music behind it as well. So a big fucking shout out to Paul, because I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I really, really appreciate him for helping me out and helping out the channel. Good buddy of mine, known him, fuck man, years now at this point. So big shout out to my buddy Paul. I'm going to be posting some links in the description so you guys can go support his stuff, because he makes some fucking kick-ass music among other things. So nonetheless, what a fucking great movie he recommended and requested. I had seen this movie once before and I remember being thoroughly impressed with it, so I was looking forward to another viewing. I really like what South Korean filmmakers are doing with the horror genre and the zombie subgenre of horror as well, because for a while, I'm not going to say like zombie films have just been all the same and all formulaic. I think people who say that, they're not really watching the movies. I don't think. I mean, yeah, there are like tropes in zombie films that are here too, you know. We'll get into that in the spoiler section, but it's what you do with those tropes, and it's how you lay those in the events of the film itself. I've already talked about Train to Busan. I thought that was a fucking incredible movie. And what we have here, Peninsula was good. I liked Peninsula. We'll get into Peninsula another day. Anyways, so what we have here is a zombie film and a Hashtag Alive. What we have here is a zombie film about isolation and depression, and there's a good bulk of this movie where it's just the character Jun-woo, who's just having a meltdown basically, because, you know, we will get into it in the spoiler section, but he's realizing that the world has crumbled around him and he is fucking completely alone, and there's no one for him to really talk to or anything, and he's just there, and all of the stuff that he is used to doing slowly is evaporating, and we'll get into all of that later on. But and then, you know, the movie picks up with some different plot points and stuff like that, but that's some of my favorite stuff in this film, dude. It's just that isolation and that feeling of dread, because you know if you just walk right out of that door, you're in a world of shit immediately, which we do see eventually in the film, obviously. Come on. But yeah, man, and also the fact that this movie came out in 2020, which is when a lot of the corona shit was like fucking bad. Like, people were still in lockdown, people were having to quarantine, and yada yada yada. I don't want to make it seem like we're not still in that shit, because we are, even though a lot of people don't act like we are, but that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, dude, like, I remember watching this. I watched this for the first time in 2020. And granted, I, at the time, worked at a grocery store. So I never had to quarantine. I got sick eventually, but I never, like, my work never shut down. I was never just in my house for, like, a long period of time. So I personally couldn't relate to that. But I was talking to a bunch of my friends who were just like, dude, I'm losing my fucking mind. Like, I can't do anything, you know? And it's like, you just sit there and you have to watch movies, which is like, is that really all that bad? But, like, for a week, no, it's fucking cool. I take vacation time sometimes and just fucking stay at home and just chill. But when you're forced to do that, and then a week turns into 3 weeks, which is what it was for me when I had to quarantine. And yada yada yada. It's like you start to fucking lose it. And with this character, with June, not only does he have to he's not staying in for like COVID or some shit. He's staying in because if he goes out, he's gonna get fucking eaten. and you just couple with all of that with the drama with his, certain people in his life, which we will get into all of that. It's fucking great, man. It's so relatable, especially in 2020. I just fucking adore this movie, dude. And also something that I don't think horror does enough of, especially like 80s films and stuff like that, because it really is just like, I want to see a guy in a hockey mask cut the shit out of people, which is fine. I love that shit. I'm not dogging on that at all. But I love when horror films have strong emotional moments, dude. And this movie has just fucking gut punches of emotion, dude. You're like, the character June realizes a lot of things in pretty dire moments, and he's just like, fuck. You're just like, oh, dude, it's a fucking rough watch at sometimes, but it's a beautiful film. And yeah, man, this movie's fucking kick-ass. I have like almost spoiled shit like multiple times throughout this spoiler-free section. So, we're gonna go ahead and get right into the motherfucking spoiler section. Wait. Yeah, whatever, dude. We're gonna spoil the shit out of this motherfucker. Let's go! Alright, spoiler time. Your ass has been warned. A little bit out of the norm there with this segue to the spoiler section. But anyways, man, so we get about, I'd say, 2 to 5 minutes-ish of, like, normal shit. And then the world just shits itself immediately. How quick this fucking zombie pandemic just, like that, for June, this character, it goes to show, man, life is fleeting, dude. And shit can just like that. It's fucking nuts, dude. This movie immediately, like, there's not a lot of setup of him just in the normal world. This dude literally just sits on his ass all day and plays video games, and that's it. Which, hey, I'm not one of those anti-video game guys. I fucking love video games for when I get to play them. That ain't me. But yeah, dude, that's all he does. And, like, that's cool. But, he's already inside a lot of his time anyways, which is something I'm just now realizing. They probably meant to have that be an artistic choice, which I enjoy. But yeah, man, this film just immediately, all of a sudden, the news is popping off and just shit hits the fan immediately. And he sees people, zombies, running fucking back and forth through his hallway, and just shit's just going insane. And then, like, yeah, you get the guy, his neighbor, breaking in or busting through his door, basically busting through his door, asking if he can stay there. He is bitten. And so, like, he hears on the news, like, bitten people are infected, don't fucking go near them. And so he's, like, fucking freaking out. And sure enough, this guy changes into a zombie, and we get a lot of crazy shit with that, and he eventually forces him out of his door. Which I love that he didn't just immediately kill him. I think it gives some humanity to this character, because I think, obviously later on, yeah, he's murking fools, but at this point, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So he doesn't, like, just automatically, boom, bash your brains in, just kind of shoves him out of his door and locks it. Puts this fucking refrigerator in front of it. Which, I don't know, wouldn't that make all the food go bad? Because, like, you don't have it plugged in anymore. I don't know. Maybe they have fucking battery-powered, fridges in South Korea. I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, man. And then shit just immediately pops off. And then we get a lot of that loneliness. He's texting. He's trying to reach his family, but there's no signal. And he's losing it, dude. And he eventually... the reality of them quite possibly being dead is really starting to set in, because he's like holding out hope. Gets a voicemail from his dad saying like, you have to survive, you need to survive. And then that's something he always says in this movie. He's like, I have to survive. Puts out a tweet about it, or like a tweet or fucking whatever about it. I don't know if they had to use some like off-brand Twitter or whatever for this movie, but he puts out this tweet because everyone's like posting, saying like, hey, come help me, come save me, which I like that they implemented the social media aspect into this. And they also said like, oh, someone developed an app for them to use like radio frequencies, since the fucking signal cellular shit's gone. Lots of really cool, unique uses of technology in this movie. It wasn't overbearing. It's not like, and then there are also times where he uses like a GoPro fucking drone thing, and he utilizes technology to his advantage a little bit. And it's not overpowered. It's not like he's, building weapons and shit like that. Nothing crazy like that. But it's like, it made this one feel a little unique. I feel like you could not have that stuff and you'd still have the same movie essentially. But that stuff, I've heard some people badmouth it. I don't mind it, dude. I feel like the technological part of it didn't overstay its welcome. And the whole #alive title, I feel like it's fitting, because it's like, that's, we're in the spoiler-free section, that's eventually how they get rescued, is because he put out that fucking tweet. But yeah, man. And so a good amount of this movie, and then he eventually tries to get a signal with a selfie stick in his phone, and he's like fucking forcing it out there, and he's able to get a voicemail from his mom. And this one was like the first, like, there's moments where he breaks down and he's like sloppy drunk dancing and shit and starts crying, and like, there's moments like that. But this one was like, fuck, dude. And so he's leaning out of his balcony, because he's in like an apartment. He's in like this really cool looking. I love the setup of those apartments over there, man. They're so fucking cool looking. But he's holding on to the railing and he's like doing this and trying to like get a signal, yada yada yada. And he he ends up getting a signal, and he hears a voicemail from his mom, and you hear his family just get fucking ripped apart. And he's like doing this, looks down, see all these zombies wanting to rip him apart if he falls, and then he has to fucking hear this shit. It's like, holy fuck, dude. Like, that's the worst position to hear your family just die. Like, oh my god. So that was, obviously, you get a lot of emotional shit with that, which I'm all for. There's other stuff I glossed over. Like, I loved when he fucking went out and, like, there's this zombie. He's in his living room, and there's a zombie that somehow made it past the door and is behind his fridge. And, like, in order to evade this zombie, he doesn't, like, bludgeon it or anything like that. He leaps over his balcony railing, ducks, and this zombie hits it and just fucking falls out of the window. And just splats. Great stuff, man. I guess this is a good segue. This is not an overly gory film. Like, I know I just did but, it's bloody. Like, there's some shit in this movie, but it's not like an overwhelming splatter fest or anything like that. This movie very much relies on the scare factor of the zombies themselves, and these zombies are fucking scary. I will always maintain, I love The Walking Zombie. There's no question in my mind. That is legacy, that is prestige, that is horror legend. Running zombies are fucking more scary. Sorry. If there's a horde of walking zombies, yeah, that is frightening. And if they surround you, if you get caught, cornered, whatever, yeah, that's fucking terrifying. I will never discount The Walking Zombie. But fucking running zombies are far more fucking scary. in my opinion, personally. But yeah, man. So, anyways, a lot of this movie is, him just dealing with this on his own. Then eventually we get introduced to Yu Bin, who is a female character who is across the way. Like, she's in the apartment complex. I think they're all in the same complex. It's just like a U shape kind of thing. And so this dude, he's had enough. He knows his family's dead. He heard his fucking family die. He's eventually just gonna starve to death anyways. So he, gets some cable, loops it up, and hangs himself. And he does, dude. He fucking goes through with it. He, hangs himself. And then he sees this, laser, point on his fucking thing. And he's like, what the and, he's dying. And he's like, what the fuck? And, he's like, he's like, okay. Looks over, and she's, pointing to different, little signs in his apartment. There's one that says no. So he's like, oh, okay. And then he fucking, takes it off. And, well, he doesn't take it off. It breaks. He is able to break it and, not die, thankfully. But yeah, man, and then we get, oh, excuse me, what the fuck? Anyways, so we get him then bonding, basically, with this woman who's, across the way from him. And a lot of this movie, they're not even together. For a good amount of this movie, they're not even, interacting one-on-one. At first, they're, communicating with, kind of sign language-y stuff and yada yada. And you get some cute moments with that, because it's obvious that these two are kind of, I love that it wasn't overbearing or anything like that. They didn't kiss at the end or anything stupid like that. But, you can kind of see a little flirtiness there, a little bit. Maybe, hey, maybe that's just me. But, nonetheless, a lot of good moments with them. Eventually, he goes and breaks into one of his neighboring apartments, and he obviously we get a little fun zombie action there, which was really cool to see. He gets some Nutella, and he's like, oh fuck yes. I love when zombie films and apocalyptic films highlight the little things and just how important the little things are, and they really are, dude. You take that shit for granted just in the world we're in now. And he was like, fuck this, I'm relishing this. So, but he sends it over to Yu Bin, or sends it over to Yu. I'll just call her Yu. So June sends it over to Yu, and because they have this really cool setup where it's a zip line, and they can zip line shit to each other. I forget how they set that up necessarily. I know she tried to with a ball, which is a really fucking cool scene, because then a zombie kind of sees that, and, we'll get into all that. But he ends up climbing, because he has it, hooked to a table or something, so he ends up, this zombie, that's another thing, these zombies are fucking smart. Some of them are. Some of them are very much just, stupid zombies. But this zombie is, kind of, up there a little bit, mental-wise. He's not a dumb zombie. So he starts climbing up this fucking wall, and there's some shit where June is throwing bottles at him, and it's not really doing anything. Takes his drone, cuts the zombie's face up a little bit, which just pisses it off. And then June kind of gets up and cuts his, we'll get into it. The kill of the film section. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, man, so anyways, so he gets this Nutella and some walkie-talkies and a cool jacket that he likes. And zombie tries to kill him. Really cool scene where he, takes a pull-up bar, pulls it down behind him, and the zombie just necks himself. Awesome shit. And yeah, man, so they're now able to talk, and then then he divulges, he's like, thank you for saving me from not killing myself, And we get the illusion, not the illusion, she alludes to the fact, the movie alludes to the fact that she actually tried to do the same thing at one point, because she looks up and sees a broken noose fashioned out of some cable or something. And yeah, man, that was heavy. It was very subtle, it wasn't overbearing, and it was just holy fuck, dude. Everyone is miserable in this world. Rightfully so, because it's a fucked up place to be. but yeah, man. So she, they end up making noodles, and we get a lot of that cutesy stuff, and yada yada yada. And then at one point, she accidentally makes a pretty big noise in her apartment complex, or her apartment complex. She just owns the whole thing then in her apartment, and these zombies are starting to go over to him, and he makes the decision to try and save her. So he calls the apartment next door just to buy her some time. And I think that's kind of the thing that makes them realize, like, okay, we need to like get together and fight this together. And so I know I might be glossing over some plot points and yada yada, but hey, we're here to shoot the shit, man. I'm not gonna give you a fucking in-depth rundown of the movie. But yeah, man. So she discovers that the 8th floor is vacant. There's nobody there. So that's their plan. She actually zip lines down, or whatever you want to call it, but she goes down to the fucking floor, and she is a badass, dude. She is just murking the fuck out of zombies. Like, and June's just up there on his balcony, like, who the fuck is this girl? She eventually almost gets overrun, and then June has also made his way to the floor, or the ground, or, the bottom. You know what I fucking mean. And he's fucking just taking out zombies left and right. Really, really good action sequence here. It's one of the coolest fucking scenes in this movie. A lot of really standout, awesome scenes. I know we're totally ADHDing this shit up. Another really good scene that actually plays into this a little bit was at one point when June is just alone. He sees this security guard kind of running from some zombies. She eventually gets overrun and killed brutally. And then there's just this gun that's just on the ground, and you see it multiple times in the movie. And finally, Yu gets a hold of it and is able to, have a gun, which again plays pretty heavy into the ending of this movie. So yeah, man, they're just murking zombies left and right. Really, Yu's doing a lot of the fucking up of zombies, which is always good to see. And yeah, man, they eventually get into an elevator, and they're going to the 8th floor where there's supposed to be no zombies or anything. Wink. But yeah, man, so they get to the 8th floor. Really good scene where, like, all these zombies, before they get up there and the elevator's closing, and they're like, all these zombies are up against the glass, and right as the glass shatters, they fucking, doors close. They're like, oh, shit, man. And then we go into our last act, I guess you'd want to call it. This does not have a very typical 3-act structure, I guess, like, from what I saw. I mean, you could definitely say it does. I'm not sure. But anyways, we'll just call it the 3rd act. Anyways, so they are at the 8th floor where there's supposed to be no zombies, and they can just chill. And sure enough, zombie comes up. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, zombies can't just walk up the stairs, but whatever. So they they end up this horde of zombies is just barreling towards them. And the thing about, like, these South Korean apartment complexes is the hallways are very narrow. And so when you are running, like, these zombies are just like fucking piling up on one another, trying to get to these two characters. And sure enough, there's some good action shit. June is able to what the fuck am I looking for here? He's able to, like, block off some zombies and is beating the shit out of them with a golf club. Fucking barrels one over to the side of the fucking ledge, and good shit there. And a lot of zombies falling in this movie, I realized. But this stranger comes out, and he rescues the 2 of them by letting them stay in his apartment. And then he divulges, like, oh yeah, some rescue choppers are coming, and June and Yu are just celebrating. It's like, oh my god, thank God. And we soon realize that this isn't his apartment. And he's a fucking psycho. And he's... I I like the fact that they didn't play him up to be just a total fucking scumbag. Like, he's just a guy who fucking totally lost it, man. His wife is dead, and she is a zombie, and he's keeping her in the child's room, which is pretty fucked up. It kind of makes you, like, think about, like, well, what the fuck did he do with the family? Did he just feed them to his wife, or what? Were they zombies? Like, what the fuck? I would love to see a little exposition on that, but I'm glad we didn't get any of it because it makes you wonder, which is a big thing, big reason why I love horror movies. It's just that, like, well, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, so he ends up drugging the two of them, puts you in the June's just passed out, zip tied, and he puts you in the room with the zombie wife, and he actually has her on a leash, and he's like fucking playing with her, and he's like trying to, like, you know, he's holding her back, just scaring the shit out of June. It's like, this guy's not June, you, this guy's fucking crazy, man. And he's like, my wife has been starving, you know, it's like, before you two came, she was, you know, who knows how long she would have lasted. And this guy is just out of his fucking mind. And eventually June wakes up and he gets the gun that they grabbed from on the ground from the security officer, and he's like threatening. He's like, hey, I will, you know, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. And he's like, well, just, you know, what, leave the girl. Why do you need the girl? And it's like this morality thing or whatever. And June's pretty adamant. There's no real ambiguity with it. He's like, no, I'm taking you with me. You as in the character. Anyways, so but yeah, man, eventually June is able to break out. The zombie wife ends up biting the psycho husband, I guess we'll call him's neck. And it's pretty sad, man, because he's like kind of holding her. He's like, it's okay. It's okay that you're eating the shit out of my neck right now. It's fine. He's fucking lost it. So you puts them out of their misery and just puts two bullets in their heads respectively. I admire it, man. You know, and even though this guy literally tried to fucking kill you, it's like, you get it. You know, it's a sad, cruel fucking zombie world, dude. It sucks. But anyways, man, so then they finally realize these zombies are coming up to the apartment. They're like, we're just fucked at this point. But there's no getting out of this. So Yu's like, just shoot me. You know, it's like, what the fuck else can we really do? I don't want to get eaten. And on my first go around, I'm like, holy shit. Like, in the back of my head, I'm like, something's going to happen. But the way that this movie is just produced and stuff, not produced, the way they just made this scene, it's like, you're like, holy fuck, is he going to actually shoot her? Like, on this go around, I knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen. But, like, when I first watched this, I was like, fuck. And there's, like, multiple, towards the end, like, I remember thinking for sure, oh my god, Yu's getting eaten by the zombie wife. Because he, like, lets the fucking leash go and just somehow she was able to evade zombie wife. And this is another one where I'm like, oh my god, this movie's about to get fucking dark. But no, they hear the choppers. The psycho was actually not lying. And he was like, yeah, there are legitimate choppers coming. And so they make their way up to the roof, get some good zombie chase shit going on. At one point, June's like, just go, not leave me, but I'll catch up. He's holding all these zombies back, and eventually they're both able to make their way up to the roof. And again, man, we get a scene where I'm like, it's either jump off this fucking roof or get eaten by zombies. Because they get up there and there's no choppers. They're under the impression that they just left. And you're like, fuck, man. Seriously? And you just hear June just yelling. It's like, we're here, we're alive, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Are they going to seriously have them just jump? And it's like the way, the music, and they're so emotional. And June, you know, puts down two zombies with the gun, and that's all they can really do. Because there's no fucking ammo in it left. And I'm like, dude, they're really gonna fucking do this. And sure enough, Chopper comes up, somehow just not being heard. That's one little, again, nitpicks. I'm like, choppers are fucking loud. Like, you'd have been able to hear them from a pretty far distance. But anyways, it's for dramatic effect. So they come up, and these military people are just fucking mowing down these zombies. And they get him in the chopper, and happy ending, which is, and then we see that a lot of people are putting out that same, hashtag I must survive, hashtag alive message on social media, which again plays into the whole social media part of the movie. Again, doesn't overstay its welcome, but plays a vital role, which I enjoyed. And yeah, man, fucking kick-ass movie, dude. Like, I know I just spoiled the shit out of it, but if you're here and you haven't seen it, go out of your way, man. It's on Netflix, and fucking everyone and their goddamn dog has Netflix, so it's like, there's no reason to not watch this one, man. It's phenomenal, dude. I did watch the dubbed version of this, I watched the dubbed version of it. I did not watch the subtitled version. So I really wasn't able to... I know for just by the mannerisms and all of that, I can tell that the performances in this fucking movie are fantastic. Like, especially from the two lead characters, like, there are moments where Yu Ha-in, who plays June, just has to fucking emote so much and has to just have a meltdown, basically. And he does fucking incredible. I do want to go back in this movie and watch the subtitled version because I want to get that dialogue as well. No, I can't understand anything he's saying, but, that's why there's subtitles. But I would like to see that just to get the full performance aspect of the movie. And Park Shin-hye, who plays Yu, is also really fucking good in the movie. And yeah, man, just a fucking awesome movie, dude. White Castles is never a good decision for me. Anyways, so that'll do it for the review portion of the video. But you know what we gotta do, baby? We gotta get into the blood, the guts, and the gory bits. Let's get into my kill of the film. Stick around. As I've mentioned before, Hashtag Alive is a very unique zombie film for multiple reasons. And one of those reasons is that there's not a lot of gore in this movie. The kills are good. There's nothing I would really say is like a shitty kill. Anytime a zombie gets gunned down, it's like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'm not mad at it, but it's like, split their fucking head open with an axe or something, do something cool. But anyways, God, I'm fucked up. Anyways, so we get a lot of good stuff here. Again, a shout out to the big fat zombie that June ducks when he's hanging out of his balcony, and he just ducks him, and the zombie tumbles over and just falls on the ground, and just really good shit there. The psycho husband death was pretty solid, just from an emotional standpoint, because you get this guy who's just, he's like, his wife's gnawing on his neck, and it just doesn't faze him. He's just like, it's okay, it's all right. Like, this guy's fucking lost it, but it's like, this world made him like this. It's like, dude, what the fuck, It's fucking rough, man. So yeah, Hugh just puts 2 bullets in their brains and calls it a day. Can't blame her. I mean, yeah, this guy tried to fucking feed you to his wife, but, it just shows, we get multiple allusions to the fact that Hugh is a very, very giving person, like sacrifices her water for her plant and yada, yada, yada. So yeah, man, this is not out of character for her. And I thought it was a really solid death scene. Again, nothing bloody or gory or yada, 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 but just from an emotional filmmaker's standpoint, it's a very solid scene. And yeah, we get a lot of cool zombies deaths, axes to the head. Yeah, just a lot of axes to the head. A lot of zombies falling. Like, there's multiple instances where zombies just fall, including my kill of the film. But yeah, man, nothing overtly like, okay, that was fucking lame. Nothing like that. But to me, man, easily killed the film. Not just because of the brutality of it, but the sheer suspense before it is the zombie who I think he's a firefighter. Yeah, firefighter zombie who's like crawling or climbing the rope up to Yu's apartment. And June is trying everything to get this fucking zombie to like fall or something. He's throwing whiskey bottles at him, tries to cut him up a little bit with the drone, and nothing's fucking working. And eventually he gets up to the balcony of Yu's apartment, grabs the fucking railing, and she just takes an axe because she's up now. Because at one point she got knocked out by the zombie pulling the fucking table and knocks her down. Yada yada yada. So she gets up, takes an axe, and just fucking takes his hand off, and the zombie obviously falls and goes kersplat, and then the hand just kind of like and fucking falls too, and you get that, great shit. I know I'm fucking weird that I like shit like that, but it was a fucking very suspenseful scene because you're like, holy shit, is he gonna actually get into the apartment? And then just nope, off with your hand. But yeah, man. That'll do it for fucking #alive. Again, I know I spoiled the shit out of it, but please go watch this movie, dude. Again, big thank you to Paul for requesting this one. I definitely planned on reviewing it eventually, but you requesting it multiple times probably really, really, really gave me the kick in the ass to watch this one again, and I fucking loved it. I loved it just as much as my first watch. But yeah, man, so big shout out to Paul. Go support his music and all that good jazz. And before I get into what I'll be reviewing next time, thank you for the patience. I know it's taken a little longer for me to put out another review than I would have liked. I usually like to wait like a week, and this has been a little longer than that. But I've been getting a new job, so with that being said, it's gonna take some time to figure out the schedule because I'm like, it's a completely different schedule now. So not really sure how I'm going to put out content. I am still gonna put out content, don't you fucking worry. I'll sleep 3 hours. I don't give a fuck, man. I will be putting out content. I love doing this shit. YouTube has been a dream of mine forever. So I'm not sure what that format is going to be right now, but I know it's going to fucking happen. There's no doubt in my mind. So obviously be looking out for more reviews. I'm going to put them out as steadily as I possibly can until I get into the groove of a new schedule with work and yada, yada, yada. And yeah, man, real life and YouTube, sometimes they fucking clash. So thank you again for the patience, guys. I'm really looking forward to putting this one out. And yeah, man. I should probably talk about what we're going to review next time. It's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Yes, The Dream Child. Not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to reviewing it, but if my memory serves me correctly. So, obviously I'm looking forward to reviewing it, though. Watching it, anyways, thank you guys as always for the support. This is my dream. This is something I've been wanting to do forever. And just, I turned 24 a couple days ago, and just seeing already how this channel has, in my mind, been so successful, it's been fucking awesome. So thank you guys so much as always. I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, man. Without further ado, keep watching horror, take care of each other, and yeah. Have a good day, guys.